Screen Slurp.
Hello and welcome to Screen Slurps, the movie review podcast where we discuss everything that is good, bad, and savage in the world of cinema. I'm Adam Meisner.
I'm DJ Gearhart. Oh, how is everybody doing? How are you? And how are you listening to this? This is during COVID time. Are you listening to this on the ride to work? Are you going to work?
Are you in a car?
Are you in a car? Are you working from home?
Are you on an escalator?
Are you in a gym? Are you working out at home?
In a blimp?
Where are you? Are you listening to this from the afterlife? Are you listening to this 200 years from now? Leave us a comment. Send us a message. Where are you? How are you doing? Don't mean to be stalkery, but just curious how everybody's life's going. Hope you're all well.
Yeah.
Again, this is DJ and Adam. Adam, how the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty good, and most importantly, listeners, if you're feeling good, can I make you a drink? And do you want a martini? And would you like it on the rocks? Because that's what we're talking about today.
Ooh, nice one, Adam. Well done. Well done, my friend. I like that. I would like a drink.
Okay.
I would like a drink.
I got one. I'm drinking it right now.
Ooh, that was a nice crack. A nice sound effect to have on our podcast. What are you drinking?
Wow, you're getting real literal here. Well, I'm drinking what the hell is this? I got it in
What the hell is it?
a can koozie here. Rogue Bat Squatch. It's an IPA. It's pretty good.
Bat Squatch.
Bat Squatch. Wow.
So is that like Batman and a Sasquatch mixed together?
Well, it's just the bat part. It's not even a man anymore. It's just a
So
bat
it's like a
and Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. Is his parents got killed in an alleyway after seeing The Mask of Zorro, and then the Sasquatch inherited his parents' fortune, and he became a hero that a knight that we deserve. A hero, the caped crusader known as Bat Squatch, and then he made a brewery and brewed your beer. Is that how it happened?
Yeah, pretty much exactly like that. And he never turned into a human. He just stayed entirely a bat and man, except he was never human. He's just pretty much just the bat, a walking bat, and still had all those riches. Maybe
let's think this through. Let's say after he became Bat Squatch, is it possible that he ran into some ooze, like in Ninja Turtles, ooze, and then became more bat and squatch together, like bat sandwich squatch?
Yeah, like a bat
just
vegetable.
Like
he's a bat squatch.
I never understood throwback to our TMNT, our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode in the archives. Go listen to it if you haven't. I always wondered why did Splinter in the cartoon was a human that turned into a rat, but then Splinter in the movies, the live action movies, was a rat that became more humanoid.
And he also raised the turtles. And in their early upbringing, he was the one who raised all of them. It's just I taught them to speak and everything. And their first words, of course, just pizza.
I think it definitely would have been better as the live action movies, being a rat that turned into, a man rat rather than a man turning into a rat man. That's a way worse outcome. Anyway, what the hell have you been slurping this week, Adam, besides On the Rocks, which is the film we're reviewing this week? What have you been watching? What have you been playing? What have you been reading? What have you been consuming? What have you been making recently, Mr. Meisner?
Oh man, few really random things, no correlation to one another, but the first one being the brand new Borat movie, very adequately entitled Borat Subsequent Movie Film. Can I just say, I highly recommend this movie. However, I don't recommend this movie if you're a young child or anyone who doesn't take inappropriate things very well. I mean, this movie's rated R, very reasonably so. It is very funny, but I say that it's very funny if you're okay with very inappropriate humor and very, very visually inappropriate looking things. It gets very gross sometimes. And I mean, it's just the jokes, they get very visually raunchy from time to time. And you got to be ready for that. If you've seen the first Borat film, you would know that Sacha Baron Cohen, he gets a little out of line at times. So obviously they're going to do that in this movie too. But It's funny. It's really funny. And I had to turn my head a few times watching this movie, not because I didn't like it, but because I could not believe the lines that this guy's crossing in this movie. And realistically too, this is like practically documentary, like borderline documentary film that he's doing here. These people don't expect these things to happen, but he's doing it. And wow. Wow, that's all I can say about that. The things that he's doing here. And you can even look at some of the news articles. There's a whole news article on what Rudy Giuliani was doing. That's near the end of the movie, actually, if you look that up. But Rudy Giuliani practically touching himself to the girl who's acting with Sacha Baron Cohen. He's reaching down his pants, like right into his crotch. That's near the end of the movie. Spoiler alert. But watch the movie, see it for yourself, and it's absolutely disgusting to actually see him do that. And it really does happen in the movie. He really does it. And that's not him acting. That's him doing that on the movie. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And he's trying to just pave it off now in interviews like, oh, it was just part of the movie. I was just moving my microphone. It's like, your transmitter's not in your junk, dude. Like, you're not, nobody planted that there. Like, you shoved your hand into your crotch. That's not where they keep your mic, okay? If I do sound for a living, I would not have put your transmitter in your ball sack. All right?
Clipped it to your taint.
Come on, man. Come
right?
on.
That's where lav mics go, right? Right on your taint.
Are you kidding me?
Kidding. I know they don't.
No, I know you are, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Come on, dude.
It'd be bad for everybody. Like, who would want that to be clipped there? Ow.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I don't know. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, I definitely recommend checking out the movie. Watch it once, watch it twice, watch it as many times as you want, but at least check it out. I definitely think in the times of the world today, it's definitely worth a viewing because it wraps itself around all of the things that are going on in the world today with the election, with the coronavirus. He talks about all of that in the movie in a very, serious and yet very jokingly manner. It's really kind of funny how he tackles all of that in this and the way that people act about all of that in the movie. It's just, it like I said, I had to turn my head a few times, but not because it's bad, just because it's like, wow, I can't believe this. Other things I've been doing, I played the video game Alien Hominid on the PS2. Super old game, but still very good game. I believe that game first came out on the website Newgrounds in 2002.
Wow,
but was
that
then
brings you back.
Yeah, takes us way back, but was then released on the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube on 2004. So that's when that game came out on the consoles. But a classic game released by the video game company, The Behemoth. And they've gone on to release a few other video games. Castle Crashers, Battle Block Theater, and a game called Pit People, which I think came out a few years ago, 2018, 2017, I think. So they've gone on to do some games. But yeah, Alien Hominid's super good, like 2D shooting platform game. But yeah, way back, 2004. I decided to give it a play again, go back to trying a PS2 game again, relive the good old days. And other than that, I was reading a book called Sound Recording, very simple title, by David L. Morton Jr., which is basically a history on just the sound industry. And a very simple fact from the book Sound Recording, for those who don't know, the phonograph wasn't the first device for playing records and things like that, recording sounds. But before that, in 1857, a man named Leon Scott in France demonstrated the phonautograph for recording sounds for the very first time. So that was the very first machine that was showcasing recording sounds, playing recording sounds for the first time. Before the phonograph and before Thomas Edison and all of that, there was a guy named Leon Scott in France. It doesn't sound like a very French name, Leon Scott, but that
Leon
is
Scott.
Yeah, Leon Scott. My horrible impersonation of a European accent, but and that's really been my week in a nutshell. Other than that, this past weekend, my girlfriend's family came over, and we went over to a Honey I Shrunk the Kids themed bar. The Sixth in Chicago actually is themed like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and the drink I had some sort of piece of paper and an ice cube, I think, that was from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It had a picture on it, and they had really cool Honey, I Shrunk the Kids drinks there. So,
spoilers, that's what we're doing next week, ladies and gentlemen. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
It all starts at a theme bar.
That's some good slurps. That's some good side slurps, buddy. I like them. Some things I've been side slurping this week. Excuse me. Let me swallow my spit. Is of course playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. I wouldn't be DJ Gearhart if I wasn't playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. Kidding. What was that line from
You'd
Brink?
be Marth.
What? Yeah. What was that line from Brink? It's like, skating is what we do, not who we are.
Oh my.
Go watch Brink on Disney, probably on Disney Plus.
Makes me think of an episode of Drake and Josh I just watched where Josh was really good at billiards.
Was Drake and Josh, were those boys the actors in Big Daddy? Were they the little kid?
Oh God, I don't remember.
I think they were.
Who was the little kid?
I'm just gonna Drake and Josh, actors. Let's see here. Drake Bell and Josh Peck. Nope, I guess not. No, I'm thinking of something else. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, dialing it back. Yes, been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. Getting towards the end of the Luster Alliance / Golden Deer storyline / Claude storyline, which is really good. I also watched Netflix's The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Ooh, another Sacha Baron Cohen appearance.
Speaking of Sacha Baron Cohen, The Trial of Chicago 7. Very different movie than when I hear Borat.
Very nice.
The Borat sequel. Very nice. Very different movie compared to that. He is also still funny in this. I will say, in this dramatic film, historical legal drama film, written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. Yeah, the film follows the Chicago 7, a group of anti-Vietnam War protesters charged with conspiracy and crossing state lines with the intention of inciting riots at the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Even that summary I just read, if you watch the movie, it's clearly who the bad guys and the good guys are, and that summary almost makes it sound like the protesters were the bad guys, which it's very, very clearly not. That they are not the bad guys. They were treated like they were bad guys, but they were not. And Sorkin, he originally wrote the screenplay in 2007 with the intent of Steven Spielberg directing the film and mostly unknown actors. But yeah, he ended up directing it, and it has Yahya Abdul Mateen II, Sacha Baron Cohen, as we mentioned, Daniel Flaherty, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Michael Keaton has a really nice small part in it, and Eddie Redmayne and Jeremy Strong and a lot of other great people in it. I really recommend it. I won't get too deep into it right now, but it is a very important film, especially for the current times. It is. I'm still in the process of like reading about all this that happened back in 1969. Or I guess 1968, the court case later was 1969. It's so powerful and shocking. And please go watch it. Please go watch The Trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix. I also, because of this film that we're reviewing this week, since it's a Sofia Coppola film, I also revisited Lost in Translation, which is a very good movie, one of my favorites. It is so good. I love Sofia Coppola's vision.
It's a requirement. I mean, you have to.
It's so good. I'll get into it more on that later when we review the film. But I also rewatched Uncut Gems this weekend. It wasn't as stressful this time, I will say.
I mean, what were you stressing about the first time?
I don't know. Adam Sandler, he just kind of goes around and pees on trees and, trips over.
That's what stresses you out. You're like, Adam Sandler, quit peeing on trees.
He misses McDonald's breakfast by 5 minutes, and he yells at the McDonald's worker. And
come on!
He calls his stolen kid Frankenstein. It's like, what's kidding? That's another movie I watched, Big Daddy. I rewatched Big Daddy this week too. But yeah, Uncut Gems. The first time I watched it, it was it was so stressful. Okay, keep in mind though, it is an incredible film, and it's probably Adam Sandler's best role ever. Um, he really outdoes himself in this, which is also an A24 film, like the one we're reviewing today. And it is, if you haven't gone to see it, I don't want to spoil it. It is so good. Especially the ending. I do not want to spoil the ending for anybody if you haven't seen it. But go watch it and prepare to be stressed out. But it's good. It's good stress, I guess. Anyway, don't gamble. Anyway, I'm not
Also,
a gambler.
remember to breathe when you talk, because the Safdie brothers maybe just write so much dialogue that Adam Sandler never breathes.
Yeah, dude, I never. Yeah, you're right. I didn't really realize that. Make sure you breathe. Make sure you have some water with you. Make sure you realize that your life is not what Adam Sandler's character is in this. That you're probably doing way better than him, even though you may not have as much money as his character does. I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't know. He's a gambler in it, and I'm not a gambler, man. Like I've even been to Las Vegas a few times. Like, I think I played a slot machine once, and I was just like, I don't want to play. Like, I don't know. I like, if you or me were to play like a game of Magic the Gathering, and like we said, like, okay, we're gonna bet this, I don't know, like red hammer card that's like, a 10 in strength and a 20 in toughness, and it just incinerates all of your creatures that are untapped. If we were like playing to like win that card together, that's different. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'll gamble, quotes.
Gambling our cards.
Yeah, I guess I'll like play for a prize, but like, and like, I don't know. But like when it comes to money, and I just like, I'm so afraid of like losing money that I've earned.
I think gambling Magic cards is practice for Las Vegas gambling.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man. It's a gateway drug, I guess. Anyway, well, me and you, we'll play for cookies. We'll bet cookies when we play Magic.
I'll go to the grocery store now and get some Oreos for us.
Let's play. We'll bet Oreo cookies. Anyway, so like I said earlier, I watched Big Daddy. I remember liking that movie a lot when I was like, I think I watched it when I was like 12 or 13, I think. And it's funny, but like, I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say against it. It's just kind of like, okay, like that's there. And I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about it, but also I'm not like, oh, I love watching this movie. I need to watch it over and over. I don't know. There's still some parts I really like about it. It's like a cozy film. It's like eating Cheetos,
You say Big Daddy, and all I can think of is I'm like, great, a classic Adam Sandler flick where it's just Adam Sandler and he's being Adam Sandler, just, oh, I'm angry.
He's very Adam Sandler in it. Yeah, he's very stereotypical Adam Sandler in it.
That's what everyone used to like about Adam Sandler, and that's why it's just. But I never got into those movies too much. Yeah,
Adam Sandler.
That's why I didn't pick up on those movies too much, because I got so used to it. And it's just like, great, classic Adam Sandler where it's just he's pissed off and it's funny because Adam Sandler's angry.
All of a sudden he yells.
Yeah, and he yells. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what gets on my nerves is him.
But that's why we like movies like Uncut Gems now, because we're like, wow, Adam Sandler has a serious side.
And he's not. Yeah, he's super. That's exactly it. He's super talented. And to watch to watch Uncut Gems and then to watch Big Daddy, it's like, whoa, like it's like watching a very mature, like well-spoken, funny, person that you trust and you could talk about anything and joke about anything and stuff. And then to watch them and they're like, before they became that person when they were in junior high and they were yelling and screaming and they're gross. And it's like, ugh, I don't want to. But I know I like that person, but I don't want to I don't know if I feel good about going. It's like eating Cheetos,
That's like back in the day, I was taken by surprise when I watched, what was it, Reign Over Me with Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle. And it's like, wow, Adam Sandler's actually being serious for once.
Yeah, he's a good actor. It's just that I just don't. I'm good with like forgetting about the SNL screamy Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison, whatever it is, and I don't know. I will say though, an old Adam Sandler film that I do love rewatching is Little Nicky. You ever seen that? Where he plays the devil's son?
Is the shiznit.
Yeah. Get in a flash. All right, Adrian, the gig's out. Get get in the flask. All right. Wow, there's butterflies in my stomach. Yeah, it's I love little Nicky
That's pretty
because
good.
he's very not Adam Sandler in that. Like he's very not SNL Adam Sandler, and it's a stupid, funny movie that I love. Big Daddy, I don't know. Like I said, it's like eating a handful of Cheetos. It's like, I thought this was gonna be a good idea, and you eat, a couple of Cheetos, like, that's some cheesy goodness, and then you get done with that handful, and your hands disgustingly dirty from cheese dust, and you feel kind of weird in your stomach. I'm like, I don't know if I should have ate that whole handful of Cheetos. Like,
Yeah.
I feel kind of weird now.
And then you
Anyway,
go watch Anger Management, and you're like, Jack Nicholson, what are you doing here?
I kind of like anger management. Like I did like Adam Sandler getting antagonized by Jack Nicholson for a couple hours. That was, if I recall, or though maybe it's gonna be another handful of Cheetos if I go rewatch that. But I have good memories.
We'll find
attached
out
to it.
next time.
We'll find out next time, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, moving on. I also rewatched, well, not rewatched, revisited, The Witcher.
Ooh.
Yeah,
The
dude.
show?
Toss a coin. Yeah, the show. I mean, I also have the Switcher, well, which is The Witcher 3 on my Nintendo Switch, aka the Switcher.
The
Anyway,
Switch. Jesus.
that's what Nintendo calls, like their website calls it. Like, hey, you playing the Switcher? I'm like, what?
Oh,
Is this
boy.
The Witcher 4? It's like, oh no, it's just Witcher 3 on Switch. It's oh god, I love that game. Yeah, the Witcher TV series starring Henry Cavill, and man, dude, I love that series. It's like a modern day like Xena the Warrior Princess meets Game of Thrones. Like it's so, I don't know, like I love. It's like almost darker than Game of Thrones. Like it's more magic and more crazy shit happening, more crazy fantasy stuff happening. But it's also like has a lot more funny moments in it too. It's a good time, man. If you haven't seen The Witcher on Netflix, go watch it. Season 2 should be coming out for too long. They released some like new, Henry Cavill, Geralt of Rivia armor, and it's like, oh fuck, new season's gonna be coming out soon. I hope. I'm just thinking like I don't want to get my hopes up too much because of coronavirus and stuff. Things have been halted. Like, for instance, we were talking about like, Glow getting canceled and
Right.
Dune getting pushed back a year. So I'm like trying not to get my hopes up.
Well, we got to
Just
keep the industry moving some way because we can't
Yeah.
kill everything.
Well, I was kind of like talking about this earlier this past weekend. Is that like I kind of see like an uprise if like things don't start going back to some sort of normalcy. I can see animation really picking up. Like animation,
It is,
especially
actually.
video games and animation, because nobody needs to be near each other. I mean, all
That's
voice
the
actors
thing.
do it in a booth anyway.
Let me tell you, I actually read an interview. A guy I went to school with, Brad Meyer, is a sound engineer for what is it, Mickey and the Roadster Racers. And so I think that's actually coming to. I don't know if they're actually ending Mickey and the Roadsters or if they're keeping it going, but he works from home for that. And the entire animation team, I think, works from home because they were closing the studios. But that's okay because they can work from home. The animation team has the capability of doing all of that from home. So they're doing it all from home, and he's working from home, and they're doing all their animating from home. And they were asking him like how he felt about the coronavirus and everything, shutting down studios and things like that. And he was saying how he was saying exactly what you're saying. He was saying, well, I see a lot of the studios closing down and films, getting shut down and things like that. But there is an uprising in animation and video games and things like that.
Yeah,
Which is exactly okay for him because that's what he's working on. So
yeah, that's where to be, man. I mean, especially like performers and stuff. Like, if you're a performer out there, and like, I feel you. I still consider myself a performer. I haven't performed in a long while, but yeah, I was on scholarship for it in college, and no big deal. I've done definitely a good amount of like small type of performance. So I feel the people who feel like a loss, or maybe they don't know where to go, like lost, when it comes to the times right now. I mean, I know you didn't ask for advice, but I'm just stating my thoughts. Go record a voiceover reel. Like, that's the way you perform, like, for right now. Like, go get good at voice acting, because you do not need to be anywhere near anybody for voice acting. Like, go get a good demo reel going. Go start recording stuff. There's like platforms online that you can just submit like get like a Blue Yeti mic off of Amazon. It's like 100 some bucks, and then like start recording stuff. And then like once you get going and like you can like afford like a $1,500 professional demo reel, like go record that, and then like dude, you'll be making like dude or dudettes, you'll be making like a good amount of money, and you never have to be anywhere in person for an audition, most likely. Like I said, that's what I've learned from my voiceover classes. So yeah, or start drawing, get into animation, like learn a code, like get into creating video games. There's tons of ways to be creative right now, and you can always go back to what you're doing when we go back to some sort of like normalcy. Hopefully once vaccines are out and stuff, and people are not dying, and it's safer to be near other people. But yeah, anyway. I know you didn't ask for my advice, but that's just my thoughts. Anyway, you're listening to the podcast, so you must want to hear what we have to say, right? I don't know. I hope so. Anyway, to cap my side slurps, also continuing reading Dune by Frank Herbert. And and still in post-production for my short film, 7 years, editing that. And I'll let everybody know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It depends, like, how it turns out. I don't know if I'll submit it to anywhere. I think I might just end up uploading it to my Vimeo page for people to check out and get a good momentum of flow going again. But
put it out there, share it,
Yeah, just share it around.
Let people watch it. That's what it's there for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And other than that, just been keeping it real, just recording this podcast with you, bud.
Yeah.
Just been like watching some fucking movies and enjoying the life that we have, enjoying the time we have here, and how better to do that than put it on the rocks. I don't know how that makes sense, but that's a movie that we're
you saying
reviewing
it
this week.
Living like Jake Gyllenhaal, we're both bubble boys right now. Am I right? Am I right? No, I'm kidding. We're doing On the Rocks this week. What the fuck am I talking about?
Gyllenhaal, man, remember him in Nightcrawler? So creepy. It should not have been
and so
Prince
wonderful.
of Persia, but also the best Donnie Darko that we could ever ask for. On the Rocks. On the Rocks
by Sofia Coppola
is a 2020 American comedy drama film written and directed by herself, Sofia Coppola. It follows a father and daughter, who is Bill Murray and Rashida Jones, as they tail her suspicious husband, played by Marlon Wayans. The film had its world premiere at the New York Film Festival on September 22nd, 2020, and was released in a limited theatrical release on October 2nd, 2020 by A24, followed by digital streaming on October 23rd, 2020 by Apple TV+. It received positive reviews from critics who noted it as lighter than Coppola's previous films and praised Murray's performance. And it was produced by Sofia Coppola as well, and Yuri Henley, and music was by Phoenix. Cinematography was by, do you know Phoenix?
Of course I know Phoenix. That's Sofia Coppola's husband, basically. Well, the lead singer of Phoenix is her husband.
Oh, I didn't know he went by that alias.
Well, he doesn't go by Phoenix, but the band Phoenix. Band Phoenix is...
Dude, I don't... You know more about that. Let's get into that soon.
Okay.
I'd love to be educated.
All right.
Anyway, cinematography was by Felipe Lassorde, edited by Sarah Flack. It was... the production company was American Zoetrope. And like I said earlier, it was distributed by A24 and Apple TV+. And the running time was 96 minutes. And yes, of course, it's an American film, which is in English. And the box office, again, keep this in mind, it's a film that basically went straight to streaming. But it's also made some money. The box office was $688,092. That's what it was. That's what it made. But yeah, it was Apple TV Plus.
Woohoo!
Yeah, which is another streaming
Apple.
service. Yes.
Yay, corporate.
Yay.
Yay. Run our lives money.
Woo, they want everything. Yes, it's another streaming platform. I don't know if you can, I'm guessing, especially if it's like an Apple movie. That I think if you don't have Apple TV Plus, like if you don't want to pay for the subscription or anything, I'm pretty sure you can just go rent it off of iTunes for like $3 or $4, like they usually have the rentals for. Or this one might be, I take that back because I remember Bill and Ted 3 was like $20, and so was like The King of Staten Island. So don't quote me on that, folks. I don't know. Maybe it's just wise to get like the free month subscription. I don't know. Apple, don't chastise me for it. Give us advertising. I'm just saying, like, maybe you can just do like the free trial, and who knows? Maybe you'll just love it so much that you'll
Hey
keep paying for
Apple.
the subscription.
Mwah.
Also, if you buy like a MacBook or like a computer from them, it depends on what MacBook that you get. But there's some products that you can get like a full year subscription to Apple
Oh,
TV
that is
Plus.
true. When you do buy an Apple product, I think
Yeah.
they do.
Yep. But other than that, buddy, this is a Sofia Coppola movie. I love Sofia Coppola. I'm not too versed on her films, but I do know from what I've seen, I love. And tell me, yeah, spoilers, everybody. You already know I like this movie. Tell me what was your experience watching this movie?
Well, first of
how did you
all,
feel? What'd you think?
First of all, who gave this film positive reviews other than you? And I'm not saying I hate this movie. I just wanted to say that because I checked out Rotten Tomatoes, and 86% critic review was the critic review, I should say. I said that backwards. Critic reviews 86% positive. That's great. That's cool. The audience score was 52%, so it was like a half and half. And it's kind of like, now wait a second. Now who's giving this positive reviews? Who's shitting on this movie? Like, what's the hate? What's the love? I was really kind of confused on that because to say how I felt about this movie, I actually I did enjoy this movie. I was a little on the fence on certain spots, but overall, I thought this movie it was really good for what it was worth. I thought it delivered. I thought it was good.
Well, I mean, to give you one big old negative one was at least he gave it a 3.5 stars. Roger Ebert. He says, first things first, the movie needed another half hour. There's no other way to explain the peculiar absence with which it leaves you. More time would make this souffle of a movie even richer. But if you can look beyond the 90-minute runtime, depriving the movie of a more satisfying conclusion, there is not simply a lot to like. There's an embarrassment of riches crying out for anyway, whatever. I can't talk, anybody. On the Rocks is why am I doing a podcast? On the Rocks is the kind of doodle only a truly skilled I almost said dictator. Truly skilled director could produce. Nasty words, Mr.
Wow.
Ebert. Jesus.
Well, that can't be coming
Cranky
straight from
pants.
Roger unless he was coming from the grave. So someone who's
take-
working with Roger Ebert.
Yes, of course. This is taken from RogerEbert.com. So, excuse me for being disrespectful to the dead. Excuse me, princess. I'm not drunk. That's a Zelda cartoon. Go watch it on YouTube. Whole series. Anyway, Adam, you said you liked this movie, right?
I did. I enjoyed it. I do think it had its faults, but I think it's worth watching. And I say that because, as you were saying, I do enjoy Sofia Coppola, her style as a director. I do think I need to really dig into more of Sofia Coppola's, film, catalog that she's made of movies, because I'm really pulling my experience with Sofia Coppola's filmography is with, and let me get down to this, Virgin Suicides and Lost in Translation. I watched her oldest films that she's directed, her first movie and her second. I never watched Marie Antoinette. I never watched Somewhere. I didn't see The Bling Ring because that just sounded like I was going to dive into the most ridiculous thing in my life. And I haven't seen The Beguiled. But I watched On the Rocks now, and I was really going into this. I was looking back at Lost in Translation in my mind, thinking, okay, we've got a movie with Bill Murray. This is looking like it's going to be, kind of a, romantic comedy drama kind of film with Bill Murray. So I'm assuming it's going to be kind of like Lost in Translation. And I think, like a lot of other people, as I watched this, I was thinking it's going to be maybe like a Lost in Translation 2 kind of thing. I know that Bill Murray was not the lead actor. The lead actor is Rashida Jones. But Bill Murray still had a big part in this. Bill Murray was kind of, the main support, which is why I kind of saw it as a Lost in Translation too. It's kind of like Bill Murray's the main of Lost in Translation, and now he's kind of like, he's the one you're looking up to now. Rashida Jones is kind of like in the shadow of Bill Murray in this, so it's kind of like, all right, and now I pass the torch to you, Rashida Jones. You're the one in the shadow. And even if you can't look at this movie as a Lost in Translation 2, or if you watch this movie after watching Lost in Translation and you think, wow, On the Rocks is a really poor follower to Lost in Translation, even if you do look at it like that at all, I think another thing to think about watching this movie is I was seeing in some of the reviews I was reading after watching On the Rocks. Another way to look at this movie is it's almost like a personal sort of screenplay for Sofia Coppola. One could look at this as Sofia Coppola is writing very personally about herself, as if she is the character Laura, Rashida Jones' character, the main character, as if also Bill Murray's character Felix is like Francis Ford Coppola, as if Sofia Coppola is in the shadow of Francis Ford Coppola, just like
Yeah,
Laura, Rashida Jones' character, is walking in the shadow of Felix, Bill Murray's
yeah,
character.
I can see
And you
that.
can kind of see that
Hmm.
because Bill Murray's character Felix in the movie On the Rocks is this very, wealthy father. He's, this, what is he, like an art curator or something, art
Yeah,
salesman.
yeah.
And he's got a
He owns
bunch
like
of
a
money.
gallery, I think, in New York.
Yeah, he's super rich. He's very well off. And then Rashida Jones' character, the daughter, Laura, she's trying to make it as this author. She's a writer,
Hmm.
and she's struggling as a writer. You can see when we're introduced to her, writing career that she's sitting at a desk, she's trying to write, and you can kind of see there's a shot of one of her books that's got her name on it, and she's just she keeps staring at the page, and later on she says, I have a horrible time writing during the day. I can only write at night, and I'm really trying to write during the day, but I can't do it very well. And so we get this sense that like she's just a struggling writer. And then when anytime we see her dad, he's super well off and he's older and he's doing great. Now how
He's
can we
also
compare
alone,
that?
and she's a married woman with two kids.
Yeah, and then how can we compare that to Sofia Coppola's real life? Well, Sofia Coppola, she's a screenwriter.
Yeah, yep.
She's a famous screenwriter. Now
Who
this
used
can't.
to date Keanu Reeves.
And she's
Sad.
now married to the lead singer of the band Phoenix. Which his name is actually Thomas
Phoenix, right?
Mars.
No, I'm just
Yeah, the
kidding.
band is Phoenix, right? Objection.
Ace Attorney.
Yeah, no, his name's Thomas Mars, and he's the lead singer of the band Phoenix. But Phoenix did do all of the music for this. And I don't think there's an exact, comparison for Sofia Coppola's family to the family in On the Rocks. But I do think that clearly she is probably more than likely pulling a lot of inspiration from her own experience into this screenplay, much more so than any of the other screenplays she's written for other films. I think for a lot of the other films that she's written, it's probably been like, I'm going to make these characters like not so much like myself, like some other
Mhm.
characters that are much different than my own personal life. But this one seems to be very much so, relatable to her own self. And again, I'm saying that under my own, probably assumption. And she's probably not trying to be like, this is my life in this screenplay. However,
No, but I could see how you could be right about some things. I do know it's not all of that. I do know that I watched an interview with her that was like through Zoom. We had Bill Murray and Marlon Wayans and Rashida Jones there, and she said that she was talking to a friend who actually does have a Playboy father, like an older Playboy father, who was very suspicious of her friend's husband, that he may be cheating on her, and she thought it would be a fun thing to do, like a story to tell of a buddy movie, almost kind of like a
mhm.
buddy cop movie, I guess, but through the relationship of a father and daughter.
Yeah.
That it's almost kind of a little quirky, but also like very deep and stuff. So I could see like that situation being blended with, like you said, like being like in the
Yeah.
shadow of like such a legend as Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, so see, that's not her own life, but that's also her own experiences.
Yeah.
As any screenwriter or film director is more than likely doing, pulling from their own experiences and their own, discussions with other people and things like that, things that they know most of the time. That's stuff that I typically do. It's like, yes, I like, fantasy screenwriting or, trying to write a real story from things that I like, but also from things that I've experienced in my own life. It's a lot of good inspiration.
It's what you know. That's what I mean. It's important to write what you know and tell your story and Doesn't have to be, like
It
the
doesn't have to be
exact.
verbatim, but
No, but I mean, you pull from, I mean, inspiration that
exactly.
you've lived through. I mean, it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the film, George Lucas in Love. I watched it for the first time in one of my pop culture classes in college. And, have you ever seen it? It's like a
No,
short
I
film.
haven't actually.
It's about George Lucas in college. Like he's like in his senior year of college. He has to like write this thesis screenplay, and he's like in this like rut, and he meets this girl that's very much like Princess Leia, and she kind of like encourages him to write what he knows, and he sees like all these like subtle inspiration, well, not really subtle, these inspirations around him on the campus that remind him of like Jabba the Hutt and Han
Mm.
Solo and C-3PO and R2-D2 and the speeder bikes, the fort. His roommate's basically Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he's like this like philosophical stoner, and
Oh wow.
he's like, I feel it, man, it's just everywhere, it surrounds us, penetrates us, and like it binds. And he's like, Benji, can you like put away your pot, please? He's like, my mom's coming for this weekend, please. Anyway, it's a really good short film. It's on YouTube. George Lucas in Love. Basically what you're saying is like, yeah, I totally agree with you. It's important to write what you know. And I I don't know this for sure. I just know that about her friend that she stated in that interview. But I kind of hope that she pulled a little bit from her own experience, because that was so cool. Like in this movie, like you had Bill Murray, who was like his character's name Felix. You had Felix, who was like this like older guy. Obviously he's single, and he's this part was like so tricky, because like if you had not cast the right person for it, it could come off as someone that you hate this person, like
Hmm.
a person that like on paper, if you like were just, this person was being described to you on paper, it'd be like, oh fuck that guy, like what a
Yeah.
piece of shit. But like because it's Bill Murray and like his charm, it's so hard not to like him. I mean, this is a guy that's like, again, I'm not vouching for this. I'm not supporting this or anyway. I'm just talking about this movie. Like, this is a guy who, like, this character, Felix, he hits on like almost every woman he sees.
Oh yeah.
Granted, it's not like belligerent, like he doesn't like assault them or anything, but he's very, very flirty. With, like almost every woman he's around. And you could tell it really bothers his daughter Laura, who's played by Rashida Jones. And he also like he's able to like make friends with anybody. Which, by the way, like my grandpa wasn't like this, but there's something about even like really Bill Murray in general. It's always reminding me of my um, paternal grandfather in a way. And there's something about him that I find very similar. Granted, my grandpa Jerry wasn't like a playboy or anything like that. But there's something that this air to him, this charm, this like very upright, sophisticated yet goofy way about him that reminds me of Bill Murray, or Bill Murray reminds me of him. And Bill Murray was able to bring such charm to this. He was very suave, and he was also like an incredibly flawed man, as we learned throughout the film. Like, and through his sins, it ended up hurting his family greatly. His former wife, his ex-wife, and his daughters. He was also open to listen to Laura, to Rashida Jones' character. He was also like, because like Rashida Jones' character, like she was like she did not put up with his shit. Like, granted, she did lean into him definitely throughout the film, and went on the chase to find if her husband's cheating on her or not.
Hmm.
Which Felix was very excited about, and granted, he was a little too excited, because this is a matter of like Laura's life falling apart or not, and going through pain and everything. He saw it as a way of like connecting with her. Granted, it was kind of a selfish way to connect with her, for sure, but he was still trying to connect with his daughter, and she put him in his place a lot. Like, and he could have got defensive. He could have went like, "Well, fuck you! I did this, this, and this for you. Blah 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 blah. But you're not forgetting about all the things I did for you." No, he just listened. Yeah, I mean, he just listened to her saying the truth about him, and he eventually did change in a subtle way by having her go on this like misadventure to track down her husband, who may or may not have been cheating. Spoilers, he wasn't cheating. And he was pressuring her to like, come on, let's go chase your husband down. Come on, get in the car, let's make a night of it. Like chasing your husband that may be sleeping with someone else. Like he eventually listens to her when he like, okay, you know what? Like I'm gonna still invite you, but when you say no, I'm actually gonna take that no and I'm gonna leave you be. Like he was an extremely flawed person, but he was not invulnerable to change. Like he was not closed off. He was not set in his ways. Like, I mean, he is, but he's not. It's not in cement. He can be changed, and I think because down deep he does have good intentions, but also is aware of his like, for lack of a better term, thirst. He's a very thirsty guy, and but he still has love. Granted, I'm saying that as like, okay, he's a thirsty guy and he has love. I'm not saying it as this love excuses that thirst that he doesn't control, because he uses like this like quote unquote science explanations that he just randomly brings up, like, did you know that like men are made to dominate and impregnate?
Well, he gets
all
onto
women?
those ramblings pretty frequently in the film.
Randomly, out of nowhere, just brings it up, this like random, and Rashida Jones like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like she has the best like what the fuck face. She has the best she communicates so much.
It reminds me a lot of my dad, where he just gets onto these stories of just like, well, son, I remember back in the day when I did X, Y, and Z, and I'm just like, what? What are you talking about?
What are you? Yeah. We're talking about like what movie to go watch. Like, what are you? Who thought of that? Like, okay, Dad. Yeah, I don't know if that's something that. I don't know. Maybe we'll be like that in 40 years. Maybe.
Yeah, it'll be
older.
like, so what are we doing for dinner tonight? And it'll be like, I remember the episode of Screen Slurps when we were talking about On the Rocks.
Did you know that the pyramids were made by aliens? They're like, okay, Dad. Like, do you want pinto beans or black beans on your Chipotle burrito? Like, I'm just going to get us snacks and burritos.
Bill Murray was a wonderful man.
But like granted, it was even though it was sometimes weird what he was talking about, it was still like real, because I have met men who do that, who just bring up random shit that, like, I don't know, maybe they feel like again, I say this with respect, maybe they feel like they need to like educate us and they just don't know. And maybe we're just not asking the right questions. Maybe as young men, we're just not asking, enough. Maybe they're like, well, he's not going to ask, so I'm going to tell him.
Yeah, tell me about when we used to walk around on all fours and why titties got us to walk on two legs.
Also, the adolescent thing was pretty fucking weird. It's like, well, that's why men think adolescent women are the most attractive. Like, what are you talking, dude?
Yeah,
no, I'm not. Like, remember he was saying like the adolescent women were like back in the caveman years, like, the adolescent women were the easiest to catch. Therefore, that's the features that are most desirable now.
Yeah, hang on now,
like, dude. I don't know what you're talking about, because I'm not attracted to like underage women is basically what he's saying. Adolescent women, like, no, I'm not attracted to adolescent women. Are you saying you're attracted to adolescent women, Felix? Because not adolescent women. Adolescent women are just children. They're just, they're girls. If you're referring to them as adolescents, unless you're referring to adolescents as in like post-college, mid-20s, which I guess nowadays us millennials,
Felix,
I guess are really adolescents, I guess, until we're 30. So I don't know.
Boy.
I wanted to ask Felix, like, hold on, dude. What are you saying? Because what you're saying makes me think that you're a creep. It makes me think that you may be a pedophile. I hope you're not a pedophile. Can you please state that you're not a pedophile?
I'm gonna assume he meant just like young, as in like, like the young adult, like not like young.
Yeah, like 20s. Like
yeah,
like basically our age, where it's like our generation 30 is our parents 18. Like we're basically adolescents until we're 30 nowadays. Like in this generation and beyond. Which I'm like, okay, cool, all right, 20s is okay. 20s is okay, Felix. Don't go any younger than that, dude.
Felix, go get your Merriam-Webster dictionary. Yeah. Come back.
And I personally don't think there's anything wrong with him dating lots of women, as long as like nobody's being deceived, nobody's being cheated on, and just again, as long as they're adults, adult consenting women that are not being deceived, or not being abused in any way, or any power is being placed on them in any way, then cool, dude, go date, go, have fun. And yeah, it's just that like some of his stuff was like, oh, that's funny. Oh, uh, that makes me feel weird. What you just said. I want to like you, but that one thing you said about men and women makes me feel a little weird
Yeah.
about you. I, there wasn't anything in this other than him revealing later that he did end up leaving Rashida Jones's character Laura's mom for another woman. Like he committed adultery, and other than that, there wasn't anything that like, and it could be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. There wasn't anything that like made him a despicable person. He was very flawed, very very flawed, but he wasn't like a Harvey Weinstein or anything like that. He wasn't like a Bill Cosby
Well, I
or
don't think
something.
anyone in this movie was really a Harvey Weinstein or a Bill Cosby,
No,
but I did really dislike Marlon Wayne's character in this movie, reasonably
really.
so, and I think he was kind of like I think he was supposed to be put up as kind of like the antagonist anyways, because unless you want to look at Bill Murray as the antagonist, but I thought
Marlon
that
Wayne's the antagonist. Ooh, tell me more. I'm curious what you think about that.
well, who else is going to be the antagonist in this movie?
I thought
Because
Bill Murray's character was the antagonist and like someone who kind of helped, like a supporting character and an antagonist at the same time.
yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on your perception.
He
I
wasn't
mean,
aware that he was an antagonist, but he was.
yeah, I mean, I was watching this movie and I felt like the reason that I liked the movie in the beginning was because it was like I thought this was a very nice. Well, I'm going to rewind for a second. Beep, 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 beep. I watched the movie, and then I started looking at some of the reviews that some of the audience members had made on, Rotten Tomatoes to see that a lot of people were leaving reviews like, "Wow, this movie was so slow and boring." That was the big thing. A lot of people were saying, "So slow, so boring, so slow and boring." And I thought to myself, "Well, why are you saying that? And why do you think this was so slow and boring?" I think a lot of a lot of viewers watching films these days are always just expecting, to watch Terminator 2 or to think everything needs to move so fast, so ultra and epic. It's like, look, man, if you can't handle watching a drama film or you don't want to know about someone's emotions, then get a fucking brain and get some
Get a
intelligence or
job.
something. Yeah, get a job. No, but for real though, after I watched this movie, I enjoyed it because this movie wasn't the Terminator 2, or it wasn't The Godfather, or it wasn't Apocalypse Now or something. Sorry, Francis. You also make great movies. But Sofia Coppola, I think, did a great job for that very reason that I felt like watching Rashida Jones' character, Laura, I was really diving in with her character. And I don't know what it's like from the male perspective here. I don't know what it's like to be a woman, and I don't know what it's like to have kids, and I don't know what it's like to be married, but I really felt like I was living that moment watching this movie because
Yeah.
it was so humanistic to see everything that she was going through because this movie opened up. And I have the quote here. The very beginning of this movie opens with just the voices. You don't see the characters, you just hear what they're saying. And it's Bill Murray's character, Felix. You hear his voice first, and he says, "And remember, don't give your heart to any boys. You're mine until you get married. Then you're still mine." And
Yeah.
then Laura says, "Okay, Dad." And then you see Laura jump into a pool with
Her
Marlon
new
Wayans,
husband.
and he's in the pool with her.
Mhm.
And then the movie kind of goes on from there, and there's all kind of suspense builds up from there. She's kind of
Well, then she's
Laura's
watching part of Chris Rock's
yeah,
old
Laura's watching
comedy
Chris
special
like
about
a Chris Rock
marriage and how
comedy special, and then Marlon
dulls
Wayans comes
as years go
home,
on.
and he comes on to her while she's laying in bed, and Marlon Wayans seems totally kind of like out of it as he's kind of coming on to her, and she's like, "Hello, friend," and then he kind of gets out of it. He's kind of like, "Oh," and kind of turns away from her, and then that's when the suspense starts building, and she's talking to her friends like, he like heard my voice and then he turned away from me like he was thinking I was someone else." And then that's when Bill Murray's like, maybe he wanted you to be somebody else and maybe he's cheating on you. And that's when the movie starts to build from there.
Mhm.
And it's just the little things that she was doing. It wasn't even just that moment that really brought me in, but I mean, that's that was really the tier build of the movie, where you're kind of like, oh, okay, so this is the direction the movie's going. But it's the different little characteristics that Rashida Jones was doing in the shots that showed her that brought me into her character, to see her taking care of her kids and to see her sitting at her desk, and the things that she was doing, the way that she would, interact with the cell phone, and the way that she would take care of her kid, and the way she talked to her friends, and the way that she would handle
Jenny
a scene where
Slate.
it's kind of like, check your husband's cell phone, and the way that, she'd pick up the cell phone, the way she'd try and punch in, his passcode, and, she'd fail, 6 different ways, and then she'd turn to Marlon Wayans and ask, hey, what's the code to your phone? And just every single dialogue line in this, and the way that each actor reacted to that, I was so enveloped into this movie from the way that they were doing it. Like, it's a sign of
he could be suspicious, because he's like, oh, there's like a new security thing for work, and he holds his phone for a second.
Yeah,
He's like, are you sure you don't want to use your phone? She's like, no, I want to use yours. He's like, okay. And he unlocks it and he gives it to her slowly. It's like, what are you hiding?
Yeah.
It's just, he was acting. It could be very easily interpreted as like, dude, what are you hiding? What are you doing?
Yeah. And to me, that's a sign that this was a good film, because I'm like, this could be my life. Like, it's not, my life doesn't run quite like that, but I was like, this is so real, to where, like, this could be something that would happen
What's
in
passcode,
real life.
Adam? What is it? What is your passcode?
Where, like,
Tell
I
me.
could ask somebody and be like, well, I wouldn't say it quite that frantically, but, like, I'm like,
kidding.
wow, I could see this happening. Like, I could see something like this happening very realistically. Unlike I see in action films where, it's like it happens, 1, 2, cut. But this movie had such well done editing to it, and such good acting and such good character development. I was like, wow,
Great
these people
slice of
seem
life.
so real. Yeah. Yeah,
And I think that has to do with a lot of like you said, editing. And also I noticed like this with revisiting Lost in Translation is Sofia Coppola has such a great pace and rhythm to her movies that there's times where you're just watching a long shot of one of the characters, and as they're just looking out the car as the car is driving, and then you hear this beautiful music playing, this beautiful soundtrack, and you're just sitting there in the car with them, or you're just walking with them down the street looking at buildings, and it gives you time to process. It gives you time to like feel things with them. You feel like you're just like you're holding hands with that character, feeling what they're feeling. And it's that patience that as a director and or cinematographer and editor especially, that lets us, I don't know, it invites us as audience members in that moment of a very believable moment, like you said, a very believable slice of life. And
exactly.
I think I don't know if that's like the only. I mean, of course, the writing and acting definitely has like a lot to contribute in cinematography, but I think like choosing to have moments like that really pulls us into a very plausible situation in life.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I didn't read the Roger Ebert review that you were talking about earlier. However, I will say I can certainly agree with that opening statement about how they were saying that the film could go for, an extra half hour or something, because I think that the film was losing me a little bit when Rashida Jones and Bill Murray, Laura and Felix, when they ended up chasing Laura's husband, Dean, to his trip in Mexico. I thought that was, it started to go a little bit slow for me there. It was nice when they got into the conversation about how Laura's father, Felix, Bill Murray's character, was cheating, or had problems with his wife, or Laura's mother, I should say. That was a great thing to finally hear about, and how they had a falling out. But I thought the final resolution of the film, after all of that had finally wrapped up, and when Laura finally makes it back to New York and she finally talks with her husband Dean, and they finally the final resolution of the film, basically, which is Laura and Dean, Marlon Wayans' character, finally talking and saying, like, I thought that you were cheating on me, and Dean saying, like, no, I wasn't cheating on you. I thought I had to impress you by working more, and I thought I had to work more to
be enough.
Be enough for you.
I didn't buy that, dude. I
thought I wasn't enough for you. I'm glad you're saying that, because that was the shortest resolution of a film. It was like a 5-minute resolution, and it was basically Laura saying, like, you don't talk to me. She's saying, like, you hardly talk to me. You hardly are home. You hardly,
like a sob story.
do anything for me. and I'm always taking care of the kids. And his
I meant
excuse is
not
like,
her, him. His seemed like a sob story.
right, right. She's saying all of this. It's like, where are you all the time? And like, you don't like do anything. You're never here. And he's like, well, I thought I needed to work more because I'm not enough for you. And
Uh,
she's just like, why would you think that?
yeah, like
Like,
what?
why are you
Are you sure
blaming
that's your
me?
line? You're supposed to say?
Yeah, why are you blaming me? Like, why would you think that I need to like?
Yeah, he did kind of blame her. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. He did kind of turn it around on her, which is not cool. He, I thought I would have found it more acceptable if he would just say like, "I'm sorry, I just got really into this job and I was in a flow and I felt good. I felt like myself, and I felt like I was doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, I would have like, and I'm sorry. And in the midst of that, I neglected you, and I'm sorry. You know, what I mean,
yeah.
if he would have said
But
that,
see,
and he
what
had
also made it
it'd
worse
been
for
different.
me is that when he would work, like he would just, work with his, friends at his company. He'd get so into it, and then when he'd come home, as in he would come home, then all he would do is talk about work, and then he would hardly even, acknowledge her. And then in the very beginning, when he's at his work party, he invites her to the work party, and he's like, "Hey, glad you could make it," and then he just ignores her. And
Yeah,
like then he just walks off with all his coworkers, and she's just standing there like, I'm over here.
yeah. He just needs to admit, like, yeah, I agree with you. I thought that explanation was bullshit, and yeah, he did blame her. He did turn it on her, and he should have just said, I'm really into this. I really like this job. I really like what we're doing. I'm really interested in it. Like, I feel like this is what I'm meant to do. And holy shit, baby, I'm so sorry. I've been neglecting you. Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like I'm just in a flow, and I especially when you're not feeling good about your own work. Like I feel like. I just kind of like sort of like pushed you away a little bit because I was afraid that like you wouldn't understand that like I'm in the flow and you're not, and he just should have just like I don't know, brought it down, owned up his own
Mm-hmm.
shit to his wife, not turn it on her,
Yeah.
and just not turn it on her at all, and just been like, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm not cheating on you, but I've been neglecting you, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
yeah,
just that dialogue resolution was just so brief.
yeah.
However, the way he makes it up to her is he's just like, and here's this expensive Cartier watch that I got you with this, what is it? The stones like embedded in
Look
it
like
or
a grandma
whatever.
watch.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looked like a grandma watch. It did. Like your wife's a young woman. Like she doesn't need to wear a grandma watch yet. Like what? I don't know. But that's just me being a dick. Sorry. I I guess it kind of like explains like Felix, Bill Murray's character being like, well, I saw him at this jewelry store and he didn't. He just got you an appliance. Okay, then. Well, I guess we know he has good taste. Yeah, it's like, well, and he's like, oh, sorry, the engravement took too long. That's why. Oh, okay. So it wasn't a gift for another woman. Got it. Cool. Still shouldn't
yeah.
have blamed your
He
wife
gets her
for
a
you
watch
being neglectful.
engraved
Yeah.
with stones or whatever, and then oh,
She
and then
takes off
she
her dad's
takes
watch.
off the watch from her dad and puts
Yep.
that watch on. That's how you know that she's Dean's man now, or Dean's
Dean's
woman, I should say.
man's, not
She's
a
Dean's
daddy's.
woman now. Yeah, not her dad's.
Not daddy's. It's weird. Parents, you don't own your kids. You don't own your kids, parents.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
They're their own
Jeez.
people. They're their own people. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you. So I'm curious, and if you already said this, I apologize, and I apologize, listeners, if I'm you heard this like 20 minutes ago and were like, why is DJ fucking bringing this up earlier? Wasn't he listening to Adam? But I'm curious. Sorry if I'm making you repeat this. Like, how did you, other than like that bullshit explanation that we both agree on that Dean had at the end, how did you see Marlon Wayne's character Dean being the antagonist?
Well, I think it was just the way that Sofia Coppola had built it up from the beginning of the movie because she was just placing the stones throughout the dialogue and everything, and the way that she was setting it with Rashida Jones' character and with Bill Murray and with the dialogue, it was kind of like you were expected to believe that he was cheating on her. And it's kind of like through the dialogue, it's kind of like, well, is he cheating on her? So should I believe that he's cheating on her? And he was being such, an asshole. That's kind of why I was like, well, he seems like an asshole. That was just where my mind was going. And so in conjunction with my term of asshole, I'm saying antagonist, just because he just wasn't caring about the character Laura, Rashida Jones'
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
That's why I was seeing him as that, because I'm like, wow, why is Marlon Wayans being such a jerk in this movie? Like, why does he not care about Laura? To which the character Felix, Bill Murray's character, is thinking the exact same thing. And it's what Laura was
Mm-hmm.
thinking too. She's just like, oh, he's not going to hang out with me for my birthday. And Bill Murray even says in the movie, he's like, how does he not have time for you on your birthday? Why is he going on a trip? Like, he should be, paving the ground for you.
It's kind of funny how, like, I guess the antagonist plural in this would be unthoughtful men.
Yeah.
Men who say that these women are theirs, but then they also are very unthoughtful.
Here's the thing, though. The
Yeah,
irony is that
unthoughtful
Bill
men.
Murray is so thoughtful for Rashida Jones. He's
But yet he's
incredibly
unthoughtful.
thoughtful. But yet, like, he's thinking about Rashida Jones' character Laura so much. He's like overly thinking for her. But yet he's the one who cheated on his wife.
Yeah, and he's taking too much pleasure in something. He's riding that fun train, thinking he's doing the right thing, but really isn't doing. He has good intentions, but he's not listening to her. Like he said, like
Right.
in the movie, he said like I'm deaf to women's voices or something like that, and like what?
Yeah, or here's the other thing. The irony is he's the one who's trying to stop Laura's husband from cheating on her, or he's trying to get her to acknowledge that he is cheating on her, and he's the one who has already cheated on his own wife.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a takes one to know one kind of thing. I don't know. It's unthoughtful men. Men who think that we're dumb. We're dumb as men, ladies and gentlemen. We're stupid. Like we think that we're doing the right thing at times, and a lot of times we're just being stupid and not seeing the obvious thing in front of our noses. And I know I'm definitely flawed, and I know I've definitely like not been the best at that and think I'm doing the right thing, but then I'm like, actually I wasn't listening well, or at all, or not well enough. So, and we'll be able to, it's like, what was it, in Parks and Recreation, and Rashida, of course, Rashida Jones is in it, and Rob Lowe's character Chris. And I remember there was one episode where Aziz Ansari's character Tom told Chris, because Chris kept trying to like fix everything for Rashida Jones. He's like, I'm trying to like, I'm literally trying to just make her life better. And he's like, Chris, just like listen to her and then be like, that sucks. That's all you have to say. That sucks. And it's like, we just need to listen especially when they're just trying to vent and not asking. We don't need to give advice, unsolicited advice. Like that's so annoying, like I've been a culprit of that, giving unsolicited advice. Anyway, Bill Murray, Marlon Wayans, thanks for representing flawed men. Because there needs to be more representation of flawed men and not the men that come in and fucking save the day all the time and like know exactly what to do. Like we need to be shown. There needs to be more represent. There needs to be more men representing. That's what I'm trying to say. There needs to be more men shown that we just need to shut the fuck up. Like me talking so much right now. And just listen. I'm going to listen to you right now, Adam. I'm shutting the fuck up.
All right, homie. We're going to go and slurp on all the slurps on the rocks, slurping my drink. So, what is the final slurp on Sofia Coppola's On the Rocks? DJ, are you slurping this whole drink? Are you only slurping half? Or are you slurping just a tiny little slurp?
I'm going to say that I really enjoyed this film. With Sofia Coppola, what I love most about her movies, and I'm including On the Rocks with this, is that I love the way she makes me feel with her movies. And this goes back to what I was mentioning earlier of like the pacing and the time that she takes with inviting you into this moment in life, into these characters' world, these characters' experience and what they're going through in this moment of life. I love the way she makes me feel. I love her humanistic moments, her connections between people, between very different people too. And it is so unlike so many other films, in my opinion. I have a hard time thinking of like other films that do similar things in this way and this well. And in this it's almost like a flavor, it's almost like a flavor of feeling with this cinema that she does. Trying not to sound too pretentious with this, but it's a feeling. It's a feeling. And On the Rocks made me feel that. Very similar to like Lost in Translation, even though it's a different story. I really liked it. I really enjoyed watching it. I love Rashida Jones's presence, and she does play like very similar characters in almost everything, but it's always good. It's like Bill Murray. Bill Murray also plays Bill Murray a lot. Except in Wes Anderson movies, I've noticed like it's I don't know, it's like there's a Wes Anderson Bill Murray, and this movie it almost made me think of like a throwback to like Ghostbusters Bill Murray, Stripes Bill Murray, Groundhog's Day Bill Murray, what was it, Scrooged, right? Is it the Christmas movie he did? Yeah, Scrooge Bill Murray. It kind of reminded me of like 80s, 90s Bill Murray, and that was kind of nice. It was again, he also kind of reminds me again, my grandpa. Rest his soul, God rest his soul, wasn't like a playboy douchebag. He was a good man, but there's still like a charming air to Bill Murray, especially now that he's older. That reminds me of my grandpa Jerry. So maybe this is like a personal thing, but whatever. We're biased. We give our personal slurps up or slurps down, and I'm gonna give it a slurps up. I recommend this movie. Go try Apple TV Plus if you haven't. See if you can rent it. Hopefully you don't have to pay $20. Hopefully you only have to pay $4 to rent it. But if you have a chance to go see On the Rocks, from my personal recommendation, DJ Gearhart, I say go watch it. It's a lovely movie. What is your verdict, my friend? What is your final thoughts and your final tidbits, factoids, if you want to say them? And what's your slurps up, slurps down, Adam?
Yeah, I would just say this is not some romping action thriller if that's what you're expecting to watch on Friday night. You want to see some people get banged up and beaten and some pounding thrilling movie, then turn on a David Fincher flick or something. But honestly, if you want to watch a nice slice of life movie, this is a fantastic drama movie that I definitely highly suggest. This is it's a great film. It's a really great movie for just watching as a drama movie, a romantic drama movie that like I was saying earlier, I really felt was truly relatable, and really I felt as I was saying earlier as well, I'm not a woman, I'm not married, I don't have kids, but I felt like I could have put myself into the character Laura's shoes and lived through that film completely, front to finish. I could have been in that film, and that to me is a sign of a good movie. Definitely worth seeing, definitely worth checking out. Sofia Coppola always delivers a fresh, nice, easy to view film, and I can't put it any other way other than saying just check it out. Definitely gonna give this one a slurps up.
Nice. I felt good. I felt like finishing like a nice, like good sized stack of pancakes. Like, yummy on my tummy. Am I right, bud? Am I right? Does
the
that
movie
feel like
or
pancakes?
that sentence?
My friendship with you.
Aww. We'll go get breakfast.
My bond with Atomizer feels like pancakes. No pun intended. No dirtiness involved.
I don't know. That movie felt like a stack of pancakes too.
That's what I originally meant. That's that's exactly what I would. Nothing. Not taking anything away from you, but what I meant is pancakes. Is this movie? It felt like
we can go get pancakes too, though.
That'd be great. Maybe I'll make you some pancakes sometime. Come on over for brunch sometime.
That's true friendship right there.
True brotherhood. Anyway, go watch On the Rocks, people. It's great. It's a good feel good movie in my opinion, and sounds like from Adam's opinion too. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here soon, folks. But before we do that, it is solo plug time. And a solo plug from me, DJ Gearhart, is I guess a couple things. I stream. Again, I'm figuring out like which permanent day, but if you follow me on Twitch, you'll get a notification on when that day will be. Again, I'm like kind of juggling a few projects right now, and work and stuff. So I'm just trying to like figure out what's best for my schedule. And but yeah, follow me on Twitch, and the handle is twitch.tv/-jayhart. That's twitch.tv/DASHJAYHART. I play video games and I do other fun things on my channel. And like I said earlier, once I finish my short that I just did, that I just directed and co-wrote, and I'm editing as well. That will probably be available somewhere online, and when it is, I will totally plug it. Mr. Adam Heiser, what would you like to plug, sir?
You can catch me on social media of all kinds at Adam Meisner. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the whole shebang, SoundCloud. And I play music. I release originals, covers, you name it. Let me know what you want to hear, and I'd be happy to oblige. I also answer any and all questions audio related. Just let me know.
Can you do a cover of Ninja Rap from Ninja Turtles 2?
Boy, I haven't heard that one. I'll have to check that out.
Vanilla Ice?
Well, that I could probably do that. Yeah.
No pressure, but you said let you know, so
Can I do what is it? Walk the Dinosaur from Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah. I don't remember the words. Anyway, I remember.
Everybody
really
walk the dinosaur.
And on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. That wraps it up for this episode of Screen Slips. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please be sure to like/follow us on social media. Yes, we release new episodes every Monday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and just about everywhere you can find podcasts on the internet. And be sure to follow and subscribe to us on those platforms. And if you like our show, please give us a nice 5-star review on the Apple Podcasts app and recommend us to everyone in your multiverse. It will help the show grow. Closing out, this is DJ Gearhart.
And I'm Adam Meisner.
Slurps up. Catch you later. Keep being excellent to each other and live long and prosper. May the force be with you all. Star Wars, don't sue us. We're just supporting your ethics, please. We're just fans.